Grand jury subpoenas Brennan, Szrok, and Page. About darn time. I'm so glad they're finally somewhat being held accountable for their actions. We'll see what happens if they actually get found guilty and all of that stuff for all the things they did to this country. Despicable individuals. Peter Szrok and Page, they were the FBI agents that were emailing each other about setting up Trump and how bad Trump was for the country and all these other things. And they're supposed to be FBI agents. And then we got John Brennan, the ex leader of the Spooks, who just another evil individual who's trying to take out Trump. They were all behind the fake Russia collusion stuff. So we're going to talk about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. You'll find a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from Hot Air, and they report that back in July, DNI Tulsi Gabbard unleashed a bunch of allegations against former President Obama's national security team. The journalist said, I wrote about it here at the time. Here's a bit of what Gabbard said during a White House press briefing. She said, quote, "There's irrefutable evidence that details how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false," Gabbard said. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't. We all know it wasn't. All came back to and confirmed the same report. There was a gross politicization and manipulation of intelligence by the Obama administration intended to delegitimize President Trump even before he was inaugurated, ultimately usurping the will of the American people, Gabbard said. We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of all this for the evidence. Implications of this for the evidence, Gabbard said. Now, I've been reporting on the whole Peter Szrok, Brennan, the Lisa Page, all of them way back on my old channel. So check out my old channel, Democratic Republic News, where you can see some of those old videos, and a lot of those news stories that I covered back then, years ago, back in 2016, 2017, all of that stuff. Brennan and Clapper wrote a joint op-ed to defend themselves from the accusations, but there were ongoing hints that these issues might end up leading to some kind of action from the Trump DOJ. Yesterday, there was an update on the story. MSNBC reported the DOJ was preparing to issue subpoenas. They said the Department of Justice is preparing to issue a series of grand jury subpoenas as part of South Florida-based investigation into former CIA Director John Brennan and the probes by the CIA and FBI into Russian interference in the 2016 election, MSNBC has learned. The investigation is being supervised by the U.S. Attorney in South Florida, Jason Redding, Quinnons, or however you pronounce the name, in consultation with Justice Department senior staff in Washington, according to a source familiar with the matter and other information obtained by MSNBC. A White House spokesman confirmed the existence of the jury investigation in August after Fox News reported the Attorney General Pam Bondi ordered the probe based on a criminal referral from Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard. The fact that the subpoenas are being prepared has not previously been reported. Among the topics of interest in the new investigation is the preparation of the 2017 intelligence assessment into Russian election interference. That also was investigated by special counsel John Durham, who found no wrongdoing in its preparation. And John Durham, that's a whole separate subject. I talked about how John Durham laid out all of this evidence and said that nothing was wrong. Just kind of like what they did with the same thing they did with Hillary Clinton and the email scandal stuff. They lay out all the facts, all the information, all the evidence, and to be like, well, nothing bad happened here. And you look at it like, what? Are we looking at the same evidence here? So there's the connection back to DNI Tulsi Gabbard. As Gabbard said at the time, she referred her findings to the DOJ and AG Bondi ordered a probe, but the preparation of subpoenas wasn't revealed until yesterday. Today, Fox News has followed up reporting those subpoenas have already been served, with a bunch more to come. They said a federal grand jury has subpoenaed former CIA Director John Brennan, former FBI officials Peter Szrok and Lisa Page, among others, as part of the Justice Department's investigations into the origins of the Trump-Russia probe, Fox News Digital has learned. Sources told Fox News Digital Brennan, Szrok, the FBI's former Deputy Assistant Director of Counterintelligence, and Page, a former FBI lawyer, were served with federal subpoenas on Friday. Law enforcement sources told Fox News Digital that up to 30 subpoenas will be issued in the coming days relating to the investigation. 30 subpoenas, wow. Fox News reports a slightly different chain of events with reference to the investigation into Brennan. As for the criminal investigation into Brennan, CIA Director John Ratcliffe referred evidence of wrongdoing by Brennan to FBI Director Kash Patel for potential prosecution, DOJ sources told Fox News Digital. Sources at the time said the referral was received and told Fox News Digital that a criminal investigation into Brennan was opened and is underway. DOJ sources declined to provide further details. It is unclear at this point if the investigation spans beyond his alleged false statement to Congress. It's funny how they can continue to lie to Congress like this and no one gets in trouble for it. I mean, it's like what's his name? Dr. Fauci lied to Congress and stuff, and nothing is going to happen to him. This stuff is crazy. The Brennan investigation came after Ratcliffe this summer declassified a lessons learned review of the creation of the 2017 Intelligence Community Assessment, or ICA. The 2017 ICA alleged Russia sought to influence the 2016 presidential election to help then candidate Donald Trump, but the review found that the process of the ICA's creation was rushed with procedural anomalies, and I talked about those anomalies, and that officials diverted from intelligence standards. They just went with it. They created something and went look for evidence to prove it, instead of having evidence and say, hey, there's something going on here. So that's why they didn't want anything contrary to what they were trying to so-called prove. But it also determined that the decision by agency heads to include the Steele dossier in the ICA ran counter to fundamental tradecraft principles and ultimately undermined the credibility of a key judgment. And I talked about this Steele dossier too is ad nauseum. I've done so many reports on the fake Steele dossier that they decided to run with anyway. And they knew the Steele dossier was fake. They knew it was fake, and they ran with it anyway. So there you have it. Brennan has been subpoenaed, though we don't know for what exactly. Szrok and Page have also been subpoenaed, presumably for something relating to their text messages about then candidate Trump. I mean, I remember those text messages. They were really blasting Trump on government phones at that. Now that this is moving forward, we'll probably hear a lot more about it in the coming days. Brennan in particular has plenty of friends who are still happy to host him on TV personally or defend him in the media indirectly. Expect to see some pushback soon. Yeah, we know the mainstream media is going to come in and cape for Brennan and have him on, continue to tell lies, the same lies that he's been telling over the years. It's ridiculous. But hopefully there's some accountability and they'll get their just dues. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.